Hey y'all, it's Taylor and today I'm back with another video. I'm so sorry that I have been so all over the place with video filming. It's just the coronavirus going on and student teaching and getting work together and figuring out what I have to do and graduation coming up. There's just a lot of things going on and I'm sure y'all understand and I'm sure y'all been very busy with stuff at home or working or whatnot too. Today I'm going to be filming a video of my drill team experience. This is all about my high school drill team dance experience from the state of Texas. So if you're interested in hearing about my journey, then keep watching this video. And if you're not, then click on out of here. I am currently a senior in college and I graduate in May from the University of Murray State University with an elementary education degree. So I was on the dance team 4 years ago in the state of Texas. I do currently live in Kentucky. If you wanted a little backstory, I've shared it on another video before. Basically, I was born in Texas, moved to Kentucky, moved back to Texas, and now I'm back in Kentucky for good. So my high school experience was all in Texas, and I lived in a town called Cypress in the Houston area. And I went to the school, Cypress Falls High School. So we had quite a bit of students at the school. And if you're not from Texas and you're wondering how a drill team goes, I'm going to explain it. So, for example, in Kentucky, the dance teams here are around like 20-ish girls, I think, if not smaller, just in my small town in Kentucky. Versus being in Texas, my dance team consisted of like 72 girls. And I know to some of you that's like insane, and to those of you who dance in Texas, that's normal. There was like 72 girls on my dance team. Little life update. Lighting. Oh, okay. Well, we got better lighting now. I went to get a coffee with my mom, and then I had to run in Lowe's. She did not go in with me, so don't come at me for that. And then she picked up some food just now, and I did not go in with her for that. But I'm sitting here in my vehicle, finishing on my phone, typing up the notes, and then when I get back home, I'm gonna finish filming the video for y'all. I just wanted to like update y'all on what I'm doing because I know sometimes videos get boring when they're just in one shot, so I wanted to switch things up a little bit. So be prepared for drill team experience. I'm back home and sitting in my kitchen because the lighting's good in here and it's just not good anywhere else. My bedroom just doesn't have good lighting. So I was on the dance team in Texas, like I said, about 72 girls on our team. My dog's barking. Thanks for that, Toby. So moved rooms again, started out my bedroom, went to the kitchen, got in the car, and now I'm back in my room again. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leave my phone like right here on the window ledge. The year I was on it all four years of high school. Well, technically I was on it 3 years, but I'll explain that. I'm gonna start off by explaining my freshman year to y'all. My freshman year, when I got to high school, I joined the dance class, which anyone can take the dance class. You don't have to want to try out to be on the dance team to take the dance class. So as an elective, I took the dance class, and then, you know, throughout the semester, obviously I wanted to try out for a high school dance team, or drill team is what we call it in Texas. Tryouts are in winter, so we practiced and then we told the coaches that we wanted to be the ones who were trying out. So we did like the little before tryouts, the week before thing where we learned dances that we were going to do at tryouts. Tried out in the winter, and then made the team. If you make the team, you then move to a new class after that first semester of high school is over. So your second semester of freshman year, they moved us to a different class. So once we got back from winter break, I moved to the Skylet class because that's what we were called. Our team was Sky Dancers, and then the newbies were called Skylets. So we moved to a Skylet class of all the girls who made the team and would be on the new team next year. In the class was just the newbie girls, so just the Skylets. All the girls who had already been on the team the previous years were not in the same class as us. And yes, we did have dance during school, like it was a school class. I know some schools don't offer sports during the day, but our schools do. I ended up joining the class and I made the team. I was a Skylet in the Skylet class. And then at the end of the year, we had induction. So to become an official Sky Dancer, we had induction. So all the newbie girls, we all wore white dresses. I'll insert my picture here. And we wore white dresses, and that was like our induction ceremony. And then all of the girls who were already on the team the years prior wore green and yellow dresses because that was our school colors. And then our big sister, it's kind of like sororities, big sister, little sister. Our big sister would have a candle and she'd have hers already lit, and then she'd come over and she'd light our candle, the little sister's candle. So that's how we like officially got inducted. And I think they gave us like some kind of beads that we used to represent that we were newbies on the team. Another thing that we did was, I think we had to do the fight song, our little fight song dance. We had to perform it for the previous year's Sky Dancers. We had to line up our chairs and do our chair routines that we would end up doing the following year for football season. We practiced those in dance class, and then we performed them for the older Sky Dancers at induction. How you make the team officially, and then we're officially Sky Dancers on the team the following year. So now I'm going to go into summer before my first official year as a Sky Dancer, which would be my sophomore year, and then I'll explain sophomore, junior, and senior year. Scratch that, there was something I left out. Another thing we got to do during our freshman year, you're not technically officially on the team until like your sophomore year. They actually just changed that this year, but when I was a freshman, that's how things were. That's how they'd been for years prior. I think this year our school officially decided to let them try out as middle schoolers and then be on the team all 4 years, but it wasn't like that when I was on the team. The other thing that we do as a dance team was we have this show at the end of the school year in all of the Texas schools in our district. All 12 of the schools in our district, I think there was 12 schools, do the same thing, and it's called Spring Show. And it's like the very last thing at the end of your school year, and you practice all these dances that you use from competition season and football season and whatnot, and then you perform them in a thing called Spring Show at the end of the school year. People can come see you and they buy tickets, and it's really fun. So we weren't official Sky Dancers yet, so we weren't in all of the dances, but they do one production for the Skylets. So we got to do one routine in Spring Show as Skylets, showing ourselves to the crowd as the new Sky Dancers. And I think what ours was like this money song. We wore these green sequins outfits. I'm sure I have pictures. I'll insert them here. And it was like the big spender, like it was cute. I remember that dance. That's what we do. And then we move towards the summer. So in summertime, as a Sky Dancer or someone on dance or drill team in Texas, we always do summer camps. And one time we went to the middle school and we did a camp there, and we learned dances and we bond with our team, and we practice fight songs and bleacher routines and football things and technique and all sorts of things. And we'd wake up really early every day and then stay there like all day and then go home late at night, and it was like a few days long. Talk to you through like freshman year. I'm just going to explain what it was like being a Sky Dancer in general for sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school, because those 3 years were all the same pretty much. Just a few things are different every year, and all schools are different, so keep that in mind. We do a pep rally, so like at the very beginning of the school year, whenever we had a school pep rally, we would dance at the pep rally. So one thing that I learned that's very different about being on a Texas dance team and then being on a dance team in Kentucky is we had to try out for routines. So if you are trying out to be on a dance team or drill team in Texas and you don't know this, you do try out for routines. So we have officers. So let's say we have a dance team of like 72 girls and we had 7 officers. Our officers are all in charge of their own group of girls. Officers, and then they have these companies, and then in their companies are the girls that they're in charge of. It just helps make things go more smoothly and allows someone to keep track of things, and you have your girls that you're in charge of without like one person being captain in charge of all 70 girls. So the reason for saying that is that when we have performances, whether it be a pep rally, whether it be a school routine, whether it be contest season, football season, whatever we do, you always try out for your dances. So just because you're on the team doesn't mean you're going to make every single dance. And it is an accomplishment to say you made every single dance all 4 years of being on the dance team. but not everyone does, and that's okay. You have to try out, and let's say they're saying, we're going to do this hip-hop routine at the next pep rally, but we only want 40 girls in the hip-hop routine. And just because you made the dance team doesn't mean that hip-hop is your specialty. So you might not have made the hip-hop routine. So if they say we want 40 girls to be on the hip-hop performance, they're letting you know now how many girls they're probably going to take. And then most of the time, the officers of the team, which, like I said, I was one of them my senior year, the officers would get to help choose the girls who made those performances. So it's a title, it's a job to be an officer and help pick people who are in the routines. And you look for certain things that you want them to have. But that is one thing, if you're going into dance drill team, you do have to try out every dance. And if you're wondering what the girls do who don't make the football routines, our girls would like stand on the sidelines of the football games, so you didn't like really see them. And they still be in uniform. They get to participate in all the rest of the crowd stands and all those bleacher dances and whatnot, but you just don't get to be in the football halftime performance. So let me just talk about football season for a second. Football season is my favorite. Our girls, we all sit in a section in the stadium, in the stands. Do we get to go sit over in like the fun section with all of the other high schoolers who are cheering on the football games? No, you don't get to do that as a dancer. So be prepared going into that, knowing that you don't get to go sit in the student section. You have to sit in the dance section. So all the dancers have their own section that they sit in at the football games, and you're required to sit there. So if you don't want to do that and you want to sit in the student section, dance drill team in Texas is probably not for you. When we sit over in our dance section, we all have bleacher seats. You know, the ones that like hook to the bleachers and they have a back on them? Yeah, we all sit in those. When you walk in the football routines, we have a certain way that we walk in. And we take our bleacher seats and we put them down at the seats, and we'd all raise them up at the same time, and then you'd stand there with your arms by your side and you'd be ready for the football game. So our bleacher seats were all lined in rows. It's very precise. And throughout the game, we do bleacher routine. The band will play certain songs. The band sits next to you. Band will play songs. We learn them, and then they'll be like, we'll all sit there and like do clapping routines and like dance in rows and do stuff, and we dance throughout the entire game. So that's a little heads up if you didn't know that. We have a certain like uniform that we wear to like all of the football games. Unless it's like a special like themed night, we always wear that same football dance uniform, and I love it. And every schools are similar but different in their own unique way. When it comes to halftime performances, we have rules. We were not allowed to, you know, touch boys or like put our arms around boys and stuff like that. It's just one of the rules when you take pictures. I know it sounds silly, but it's just a part of it, and that's one thing that you need to know about football season. And then we'd go down behind the bleachers and we'd go out and we perform our halftime performance. When we perform our halftime performance, we're told certain yard lines we have to be on. You know what yard line you're on every time you move spots in the dance. You got to be on a different yard line. That's just the way it goes. And at the very beginning of every performance on the football field, they introduce like the dancer of the week, and then the officer of the week, and then our line officers are, and etc. and stuff like that. And then the band plays our songs, and we dance to the songs that the bands play, not songs on the speaker. Special cases are homecoming week, we might do something different, and then sometimes we do like the daddy-daughter dance on the football field. We might do like a Grease theme, stuff like that. You do different themes for those, and you don't wear your football uniform then. For the most part, you're always in that uniform. And we always use different props. You never know. Sometimes we'd use pom-poms. Sometimes we'd have big hoops with like streamers on them. Sometimes we'd just use the handheld streamers to do routines. They're all different. We had water jugs, and we'd get to bring those water jugs, and they had sky dancers on them. We all had the same water jug just so that it looked the same and symmetrical. We'd have them next to our seat, and that's the water you got to drink throughout the game. You don't bring like some random water bottle. We didn't used to have like snacks or anything like that. I know now, I'm pretty sure they are allowed to do snacks. I don't know how things have changed now. If you do know, comment below, because I'd like to know how things have changed since I was on the dance team. But since we're still on the same topic of football season, I'm going to go ahead and finish up talking about the things that I feel like discussing, and then we'll move on to competition season, because I also love competition season. So another thing about football season is before it's game time, whether it was like a Saturday game in the middle of the day or a Friday night game, you always had to have check-in first. So we would meet at the school, and then we'd go in our locker room and dance room for check-in. So, you know, we'd all be getting ready in the locker room, and then we'd be told to meet in the dance room by a certain time to do check-in. So the officer would be with her company, and all of her girls would sit there with their bleacher seats and then their bag. You always have a bag at the games. And you'd sit there with your bag, and you'd be waiting for your officer, and your officer would be ready to check you off. So she might say, okay, everybody hold up your pom-poms. Everybody holds up your pom-poms, get checked off. Okay, everybody hold up your lipstick. Hold up your lipstick, get checked off. Hold up your bleacher seat. Hold up your hat cover for if it rains. Stuff like that. And you have to get checked off. If you don't have something, you get a demerit. The way our thing worked is if you get a certain amount of number of demerits, then you're on probation. So we always kept a demerit list throughout the entire school year for Sky Dancers. We had a system of demerits and merits. If you got a certain amount of number of demerits, then you were on probation. You couldn't be in dances. And then you could bring in merits to help bring those back up. So that's kind of how we did check-in. And then once everyone was checked in, we all sat in uniform, we all went outside, got on the buses together, and then we went to the football games together. So we did ride the bus together to the football games. And whenever the games were over, we got our bleacher seats, we all loaded up, went to the buses, and we went home on the buses together. And whenever we got towards the school, we'd do like we'd sing our school song on the bus, then we'd get out, put our things up, our officer would check off that we had everything and check it off before we could go home, and then you could head home. Usually we went home at like 11 o'clock, so be prepared for that. I feel like I've covered enough about football season just to give you the gist of things if you're interested in the dance team. So there are more things. I'll insert some pictures. There are more things to know that you can ask other people if you're curious about, but I'm going to move on to competition season, which was so much fun. So we do compete, and that would be contest season. So after football season was over, you already know it's time for contest season. So in contest season, your team does team performances, smaller group performances, solo performances, officer performances. There's so many performances. During contest season, you might be like, oh, I'm in 7 different routines at this one contest, and that is very likely. So we might do a team lyrical, team jazz, team pom, a small group of hip hop, and then the officers might do an officer lyrical, an officer jazz, and then you might decide to put yourself in a jazz solo. You could be in so many different performances. But that's just a little bit about how contest season goes. At the end of the day for contest season, you'll go and you'll wait for trophies. There's awards. It's so much fun. At the end of contest season, we might compete at like 4 different contests, and then we would always host a contest at our school that other schools could come to. And when we hosted, we were not like competing in the actual contest because we were the ones hosting. And when hosting, we'd be given jobs, like they might say, you're at ticket sales, and then the entire day I'm in charge of ticket sales, or you're in charge of concessions, and the entire day that you're in charge of concessions at contests. And then if you had a solo, you could compete your solo. And I did have solos. I did a solo my junior year and my senior year, and I'll insert small clips of my solos but without the music so that you can see. Contest season is fun. It's different than football season. Fun outfits and do fun routines. Probably all that I'll share about contest season. It's hard work. It's a lot of practice. We practice all the time, every day after school. But yeah, I'll insert some pictures so that y'all can see a little bit. last like main topic that I'm going to talk about is spring show. So spring show would be after contest season. So you've got football season, then you do contest season, then you do spring show. I explained spring show a little bit earlier with freshman year and how we did our freshman year skylight routine. But once you join the team, you're in a whole lot more dances than you are your freshman year. You're in all of the dances that are sky dancer pertaining. But also in our spring show, I think the cheerleaders, they did one routine, and then like the step team and Ola Club might have done a routine, and like the drama club or theater, they did the emceeing for all of our spring show, but then the rest of it was all of our performances. So basically what spring show is it's just all of our performances that we would compete with at contest season, but we bring them to one show called spring show. And then, like I said, students from the school and their parents and your parents and grandparents and everybody can come watch it Friday and Saturday night. And then they pay a small fee to get in, and you get to show off your dances. And the very last performance of the entire night, both Friday and Saturday night, is in our football uniforms. So we wear our football uniforms. In the last performance, and then we have this big banner across the back of the wall that says Sky Dancers, and it comes down, and we do this huge routine, and it's the finale. And then the Saturday night is always sad because it's the seniors night. So that's a little bit of spring show. So I've shared the main things, you know, from freshman year trying out to football season, contest season, spring show, and now I'm just going to share a bunch of random things that just don't really have a category that I feel like I should share with you all. So like I've explained at the beginning, we do have officers. We have social officers and line officers. Line officers are more like the main dance officers, and then the social officers are more fun officers. So for social officers, there's different roles that are more for the creative side of things, like coming together with chants, the person who's like always in charge of doing chants, or like the person who does all the crafting and making all the like fun crafty things for like costumes and coming up with all those kind of things. Or I was a chaplain my junior year, which meant I was the prayer girl. So I prayed at every football game before we had banquet and stuff like that. I was always the one who had to pray because I was the chaplain. And then the line officers, like I said, are more in charge of their group of girls and coming up with the dance routines and issuing demerits and merits and all those kind of things. One thing is, yeah, it's really easy to get demerits, so you kind of have to be on your best behavior as a dancer in the Texas dance world. So if you forget your pom-poms at a game, demerit. You forget your water bottle at a game, demerit. If you come to practice one day and you have the wrong shorts on because we were assigned certain outfits that we had to wear every day at practice, like Monday might be black shorts and your purple sky dancer top. If you accidentally wear your green top, demerit. There's so many different things like that. So it is really good because I also think that even though it sucks thinking, oh, I have so many rules to follow, it's so hard being on this dance team, it really helps prep you for in the real world to be prepared for things, to do things right, to be on time, to do things the right way, to be on your best behavior. I think that it's a good system. Posting pictures on social media that are inappropriate, more than one demerit, but those would be demerits. So that's just an example. Fun fact. Another thing that was fun, I became a line officer my senior year. So my senior year, I was a line officer. I was not a social officer anymore. I tried out for line officer. I actually did try out my junior year and didn't make line officer, but I was a chaplain, which was an incredible experience. But then senior year, I tried out for line officer. I made line officer. I was then a line officer. All the officers, we all got to go to our own special camp that summer before our senior year called officer camp. And oh my gosh, it was a very challenging experience to say the least. It was just the officers. We got to go learn routines, bring ideas and routines back to our dance team once we got back, and we had a great time, but it was a very challenging time. Like, we had to stay up so late practicing dances, learning dances, then performing dances. Sometimes they'd give us like a prop and be like, come up with the dance with this prop, and you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. Like, it was fun though. It was a lot of fun, and we got to stay in a hotel together, and get breakfast together the next morning. But that's the fun, you know, all the fun things that no one tells you about the dance team. Another fun fact was our groups of girls that we were in charge of as an officer were called companies. And let's say, like for example, my friend Emmy, she was an officer and she was Emmy's Elephants, and then I was Taylor & Co., like Tiffany & Co., and then we had like bulletin boards in our locker room of our company, and then all of our little girls in our company, their names on the little things, like mine was Tiffany boxes, so it'd be all of their names and each one of them was a Tiffany box. So stuff like that is always fun too that we get to do. There is definitely so much more that it entails, like being part of parades and doing like Christmas parties and doing Secret Santa and stuff like that. There's so many things. That I could talk about, but I would be here forever talking about things, so I'm just gonna like cut myself off here and then talk about one last thing. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, going on trips. The year after I graduated, they went on a Disney World trip, which I would have loved to go on, but the year I graduated, so my senior year, we went on a trip to California. You don't have to go on this trip, you don't have to sign up. It was not like a cheap trip by any means. I mean, it was pricey, but I thought it was a really fun experience. So we did go to California. Best trip ever because of a few things. So on our way there at the airport, our coach had been standing behind RG3, football player. You should probably know who I'm talking about, but anyways, I'll see if I have a picture and I'll insert it. So I already saw a celebrity at the airport there. Then we got to LA, California, and roomed with a bunch of my friends. We went to Universal Studios one day. So much fun. We went to the pier, Santa Monica Pier. And then we went over to the Grove in Los Angeles and we met 3 girls from Dance Moms. I'll insert a picture of that. While we were on a dance trip, we met girls from Dance Moms, unexpected. Then I met a YouTuber, That's So Jack, just randomly in a department store. And then best of all, I met the Chrisley family. On this trip, it was a phenomenal trip, did lots of shopping, and then we also got to take a dance class at a really popular studio in California while we were there, because we were there as a dance team. But things like that you get to do are just... So thank y'all so much for watching this video. I hope that you got something out of it, especially if you are planning on trying out for a dance team or drill team in the state of Texas that does things similar to this. If you do have questions, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment or message me on my socials, and I will definitely answer the questions that you have, because I would love to answer any questions that you're curious about. I absolutely loved being on the dance and drill team in high school. It was the best experience ever and some of the greatest years of my entire life, and I don't regret it one bit. It's such an awesome sense of community and family and bonding and getting to do things you don't normally do. And if you have the chance to try out for it and you like dance, I highly recommend it. But thanks so much for watching my video. Hope that you guys enjoyed this. I will see you on my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. I'll see y'all later. Bye.